Hey, what's going on, everybody? This is Rohan Lawrence, and I'm doing my first review of Raw, July 1st, 2000. A couple things happened on Raw, some good, some bad, some not really worth mentioning too much about. So, let's just get this review, let's just get this review over with. Alright then, the first thing that happened, alright, well, we got Vickie Guerrero coming out, and she's going to talk about how she wants to thank the McMahon family for all they do and how they're going to pay tribute to the WWE and World Heavyweight Championship. I thought this was a good idea. I liked, in between the little flashback of past champions, ones I knew, like Bob Backlund, I think, Lou Thesz, Hulk Hogan, Austin. So I like the fact that they paid homage to their champions. So that's one way to start. That's a pretty good way to start off Raw. Second, well, I guess you can say that it really started off with Daniel Bryan talking about how he defeated Randy Orton and how he was going to win the Money in the Bank. And this was followed by Sheamus coming out saying that he was going to come out in the ring. Then followed by Randy Orton, then I think Kane, then I think Christian, then I think CM Punk. So pretty much everybody except RVD, because, he's not going to show up until Money in the Bank. Pretty much everybody of the All-Star Raw participants came out and said their piece of why they're going to win. It was a pretty solid segment. I thought it lagged on maybe a bit too much, but it was doing pretty well. The highlight of this part was when, of course, Randy Orton tried to RKO Daniel Bryan, but, Kane stepped in the way, so he got the RKO instead. I'm interested as to why Kane is really still defending Daniel Bryan at this point. I mean, as much as people would love him to go stay face, it looks like WWE is going to do the opposite thing and might turn him heel by the way things are looking, the way he's acting, his arrogance is growing, but maybe it could just be me. Let's see now. The second thing that happened... yes. We have our first match of the evening. The Shields versus the Usos and Christian. Pretty solid match. Usos were great. Christian was great. The Shield were phenomenal as always. Pretty solid match, worth watching. And basically the Shield come up with a win. I believe in this match we learned that the Usos are going to be fighting the Shield for the Tag Team Championship. That's not my concern. That's not my problem. I'm excited about that. What I'm disappointed about with the WWE, and this is more like leaning towards the Shield in their case, how could you put them on the pre-show? Are you for real? I mean, the Tag Team Championship finally gets a bit more legitimacy, and then WWE screws it up again. It's like, really? You're putting the Shield, pretty much one of your most over-heel factions right now. One of the only legitimate real heels who actually win matches out of cleanly, and you're putting them on the pre-show? Not to mention it's a slap in the face of the Usos, who have been on a great streak so far, they even managed to defeat the Shield last SmackDown, and you're putting them on the pre-show? That don't make no type of sense. I mean, I guess I'll just have to watch the pre-show, but, it's ridiculous. That's a pay-per-view quality match. Why is it not on the pay-per-view? Let's see now. What else? Okay, we got backstage, we got Daniel Bryan talking to Kane, saying how he gave him a rematch with Randy Orton, and surprise, surprise, he's the special guest referee. Something that'll build the rivalry. I like where this rivalry is going, but in the segment, I couldn't care too much about it. The second match, I believe, was Dolph Ziggler versus Jinder Mahal of 3MB. Yes, I'm right. Well, I mean, it's 3MB. I mean, I know they're performers. I know they could probably perform well, but with the way they're booked, it's just not looking good so far. The match was nothing special. Dolph did a good job. The highlight of the match was actually after the match where 3MB tried to jump him. Once again, I gotta say, the show-off is making people look good, because he made 3MB look like a legitimate threat with the way he was running around there. The zigzag at the end on Jinder Mahal and the zigzag at the end to Drew McIntyre, I believe, was really good. So I look forward to what they're going to do with Dolph Ziggler in the future. Another segment behind the scenes, Triple H is talking to Vickie Guerrero. He says how he loves the show and says, you're listening to the crowd, and all that nonsense. I don't really care too much for backstage authority that much because they're just, they're just real. They're not the real authority, so that's why I can't really get into them that much. Triple H says, "Oh, you should only listen to me." And while I'm at it, I'm just going to mention the other segments with Vicky and the McMahon family. Vince is pissed at Vicky because, she announced the champion versus champion match between John Cena, the WWE champion, and Alberto Del Rio, the World Heavyweight champion, as the main event. He said it's a good idea, but you gave it away for free. You had to do what's right for business, and I found that part kind of funny because, I always say Vince is pretty greedy. So, the fact that he let that greed show on public television was kind of funny. And, there's Stephanie McMahon, who says, "Oh, I'm here for you, but in a business aspect," and that was kind of clear when, Vicky did the dumb mistake of making fun of Vince and Triple H. Like, did they forget that, she's related to them? Did she just forget that? But, I'm actually feeling bad for Vicky. Like, over the years of wrestling, I've always hated Vicky Guerrero ever since she came on the scenes. She's always annoyed me. So, if I'm actually feeling bad for her, it's bad. It is damn bad. So let's move on. Let's see what we got here. Yes, match 3, Randy Orton versus Kane. The Viper versus the Big Red Monster. With Daniel Bryan as special guest referee. What can I say about this match? I didn't like the disqualification. It was just no point. I mean, like, I know they're trying to play up the rivalry between, like, the three of them, but to me, I felt like the disqualification had exactly no point to it. I mean, like, they might as well just continue the match because, Daniel Bryan was going to end up giving the 3 count super fast. I gave Kane the win, and Kane wasn't too happy about that. Almost chokeslammed him. Daniel Bryan's like, "Oh, you couldn't have won it without my help." So, now Daniel Bryan is trying to make Kane feel like the weak link. A little, reversal of the roles here. Unfortunately, he turned his back on the Viper, which is never smart. He received an RKO at the end of the match. Never try to screw the Viper, man. What more can I tell you? Let's see what we got here. Yes, the CM Punk and Paul Heyman rivalry, aka also known as the Brock Lesnar and CM Punk rivalry. CM Punk getting F5'd by Brock Lesnar a couple of Raws ago was, I think, kind of awesome. And as you can see by the shirt, I'm a CM Punk fan, so, power to Punk and everything. But I'm also a fan of Brock Lesnar. This guy's menacing. So this whole rivalry between CM Punk and Heyman that's going on, too, is adding to the rivalry, and I'm really loving every minute of it. Big surprise, surprise. One of the best parts about Raw, it features this guy. Anyway, the rivalry is going good. CM Punk is saying, "Paul, I trust you. I just don't trust Curtis Axel." So, like, Punk's going to this whole phase where he's not trusting any of his other Paul Heyman guys. I mean, for what reason should he? He just got F5, really. So, he's not trusting Curtis Axel with that match they have with the primetime players. He's, not happy about it at all. So, the match gets on underway. Curtis Axel's trying to, prove a point, saying, I got this. He's pretty much handling Darren Young. Titus O'Neil comes in, different story. He tags in CM Punk. CM Punk shows once again why he's the best in the world. He hits the go to sleep on Darren Young, who is tagged in by Titus O'Neil eventually. He hits him with the go to sleep. Curtis Axel tags himself in, steals the credit. 1, 2, 3. Paul Heyman guys win. Paul Heyman is like, "Come on, you won. I mean, you hit him with the go to sleep. You don't need the pin too." And Punk is just like, "I'm doing this on my own from now on." He leaves while Curtis Axel revels in his victory like he won the whole thing by himself. I like Curtis Axel. Okay, I lied. I don't really like Curtis Axel at all that much. Okay then. Aside from that, next match, and I skipped around a little bit, but I just want to get that out of the way. Fandango versus Sheamus. Nothing really worth mentioning. Highlight of the match was Sheamus making fun of Fandango, but Sheamus makes fun of every opponent he has, so that's not really anything new. Not even worth mentioning. Here's what I want to get into. The next match featured The Miz versus Ryback with Chris Jericho as a, special commentator. Now, here's where I'm actually mad with the WWE. When Ryback debuted, they debuted him as this monster, this unstoppable monster, a guy who was taking out 3 people at once. Mind you, they were local competitors, but they were building him up to be a monster. Now, months later, he's waving off matches? Wait, hold up. Let me get this straight. Ryback, the guy you had screaming, "Feed me more," is now waving off matches? Dude, I've watched wrestling for a while, and I don't think I've ever seen a wrestler wave off a match. Maybe I have, but I haven't seen it in a long time. And from Ryback, of all people. I mean, really? What the hell was the point of you guys building him up if you're just going to tear him down? But it's the curse of WWE, man. Every time you get into a feud with John Cena, it's all downhill from here. Man, I like Cena, but this is one of the reasons why I don't like him. Because it's just like, everybody who feuds with him, just, their push dies, man. It's like he's the push killer. I mean, like, and it certainly doesn't help the fact that, Ryback got code broken by Chris Jericho after the match. So Miz wins it, Ryback calls off the match, and I don't know what they're going to do with Ryback, really. It's like, is he a monster or is he a bitch? Right now he's a bitch, really, honestly. I mean, like, he's got no credibility anymore. You killed his push. It's like the guy was fearless, and now you just turned him into a baby? Really? Cryback? Like the name says, Cryback? Man, WWE needs to seriously reevaluate how they treat their heels, because no one can take Ryback seriously anymore. Anyway, I already mentioned that match between CM Punk and Curtis Axel. Like I said, their rivalry is getting good. I like how they're building it up. The next match featured Alicia Fox versus Kaitlyn. I'm glad they got their Divas match, but if you remember my other video, the whole how to format the 3 hours of Raw better, the match was good. Once again, it's 3 hours. I think they should get a little bit more time. Pretty solid match overall for like being in 2 minutes. Kaitlyn finishes off with a spear, and guess what? Let's light it up. AJ and Big E Langston comes in, and the segment was actually pretty weak. I mean, like, I wasn't a fan of the whole, dressing up like each other. I thought that was plain out creepy, regardless if Kaitlyn did it or AJ did it. I thought it was plain out kind of creepy, but it was the good kind of creepy. It was like, that was getting it interesting. This one fell flat on its face, with AJ showing doctored pictures of how, Kaitlyn's modeling career looked. That was really weak. I mean, really weak. And you know how you could tell it was weak? Kaitlyn didn't look nearly as mad as she did last week. Maybe she's supposed to be portrayed as calmer now, but like last week when she dressed up as Kaitlyn, she went ballistic. Like if Layla did not hold on to her, there would have been a fight. I'm telling you. But this segment just kind of fell flat on its face. So hopefully they'll do better with the Divas division. In terms of that rivalry, I hope they can make it a little bit better on SmackDown if they continue it. And let's see. Match 8 was Cody Rhodes versus Antonio Cesaro. Cool thing about this is that, Antonio Cesaro is now officially a member of the We the People thing, and their leader's back as well. Jack Swagger. He's back, yeah. Not a big fan of Jack Swagger, but I'm glad he's getting his push. I like this whole new stable going on, Hopefully they'll treat their heels better. Antonio Cesaro finishes us off with a neutralizer. And really, nothing more to say about that. And we've got a Total Divas promo. Not that important to me. And I gotta wrap up this video in like 1 minute. So next main thing is the main event: champion versus champion. John Cena versus Alberto Del Rio. A pretty solid match. It was okay. Both these guys are great champions in my opinion. They're good. Highlights is when Mark Henry came out to distract Cena, which didn't work, and when Dolph Ziggler tried to distract Alberto Del Rio, and it did work. So, let me just give you the predictable prediction. John Cena won with the attitude adjustment, and the rivalry between, Mark Henry and John Cena continues to grow, man. It looks like Cena's scared. So we'll see what has to happen. And last but not least, the Wyatt family is finally debuting. Thank the Lord, because I am sick of those creepy-ass promos. But no, seriously, I'm interested to see what they're going to do. So yeah, that's my review of Raw. Hopefully it can be maybe a little bit better, but I'm trying. Anyway, if you want to discuss anything, press the comment button, comment, subscribe, and do whatever. And I will see you next video. So this is Rohan signing off.